Various stakeholders in the SADC development bloc have held a first-of-its-kind summit on the 23rd to the 25th of April this year. Now, the summit looked at developing a SADC Model Law on prison oversight that will actually be set as a benchmarking reference for national parliaments of SADC countries as well as other stakeholders in view of enhancing the functions of parliament to exercise oversight over the treatment as well as conditions of detainees. It also looked at a range of issues that were involved in parliamentary oversight of prisons. And most recently, South Africa's Correctional Service has come under the spotlight over its oversight at the country's prisons. Well, for more on this, let's now welcome Southern Africa Litigation Centre Head of Criminal Justice and Human Rights lawyer Chikondi Chijozi as we look, of course, at prison oversight in the SADC region. Chikondi, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you being with us today. So why was this type of summit essential?
Thank you so much for having me. This summit was really essential considering that in Africa we seem to have similar problems when it comes to prison conditions. We have serious issues of overcrowding in our prisons, issues of malnutrition and inhumane treatment of prisoners, which is very common in all our SADC prisons. So despite the fact that we do have the legislative framework at regional level, international, as well as national level that protects the rights of prisoners, but there hasn't been effective way of overseeing what's happening in our prisons. As such, over the years, we've seen increased violation of human rights within the prison facilities. So this comes in very important because it creates a platform where the SADC Parliamentary Forum can exercise oversight over the prisons and enforce even the existing oversight bodies that already are existing in our respective countries.
Very interesting indeed, Chikondi, because we've seen some harrowing videos of inhumane living conditions that have been shared, like across the various platforms. We can even name them here, but I mean, it's going to take us all day. But we are pretty much aware of how some of the countries actually treat some of their prisoners. And I suppose more interesting then would be the question as to why does it matter then for independent bodies to do oversight? How does this all tie in?
Yeah, this ties in because prisons. There's no one who is designated to be a prisoner. Any one of us can be found in prison, and you can even see increasingly, even now, there's a lot of reliance on criminalization for everything, which makes everyone a potential prisoner. As such, we need to make sure that we have ways of having oversight over those people that are detained, because those that are detained, they lose their freedom to do anything. They are at the mercy of the state. And that's why we have all these legislative frameworks that are there to protect those people. And if we do not have the oversight bodies to see how these inmates are being treated because of their vulnerability, because society has already condemned them, that they are not wanted in society, and that's why they are incarcerated, it means that if we do not have effective oversight, there is high likelihood of their rights being violated and no one being held accountable. And that's why we need these oversight bodies.
Absolutely, because Chitong, I mean, rehabilitation will then not happen through torture. But let's also talk about why protecting the rights of prisoners is very essential in order to avoid torture, in accordance, of course, with global human rights requirements.
Exactly. It is important to protect prisoners, because remember that the way the criminal justice system is designed when it comes to incarceration is to punish the person by limiting their right to liberty. And all the other rights that the person holds as a human being, they retain them even when they're incarcerated. So that's why it is important that when people are incarcerated, we are watching over that they're not denied all their rights, because we've already taken their right to liberty and all rights that are associated with the right to liberty where it has been taken away. But any other rights, right to food, health, education, all of that remains with the person. And if we do not have proper oversight, considering the nature of vulnerability of prisoners, there's a high likelihood that people can lose all their rights because of just being incarcerated.
We had a very interesting debate in the country recently, Chitonga, when our Minister of Correctional Centres, I suppose, said, of course, I think he was thinking around introducing a certain meal plan for these prisoners. And it got the country talking quite a lot. Many were divided in that, is this going to sustain these prisoners? While others were saying, well, you're not going to prison to go there and have a 3-course meal, so they should be some sort of curtailing as well as structuring when it comes to all these things. And also maybe talk to us then, Chikondi, about also the significance of monitoring if the state resources are actually well managed. I know you mentioned it earlier in our interview in the prison facilities. There's been quite a few incidents as well, even deaths that have been reported at some of these facilities, escapes and even allegations of internal corrupt activities.
Yes, and just to comment on that, because the sentiments that have been shared about improving the nutrition in the prisons and how we're going to make the prisons more comfortable. Some people have said we're going to make the prisons a hotel. But what we have to understand is there are state minimum standards. And when you look at those state minimum standards, they don't set a standard of a hotel for a prison. It's just basic minimum for a human being to live. So, and I was joking the other day that even if we were to make prisons look like a hotel, imagine if you were to stay in a hotel all your life, you have no access to your family, you can't talk to people, you can't do all the things you love to do. It won't feel like a hotel at all. And that's not what we advocate for when we say we want good conditions in prison. It's just basic needs of a human being. Because what we have right now in our prisons is people eating once a day. And in some countries, they do have maize porridge, which they keep for a day so that it can harden enough to become pap, because they can't afford to feed them proper pap. So all those are things that we are saying these are basic minimum needs.
Very, very great information there. Thank you so much for sharing it with us, Chikondi Chijozi. There she is, the head of criminal justice at SALC.